Well, Donald Trump is away in the Middle East, and while he's away, the GOP is deciding to, play more games while daddy is gone, and they are evacuating D.C. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of these do-nothing Republicans that are literally handcuffing Donald Trump rather than doing their dang job. I've got a lot to share with you in today's broadcast, but let's start first with some of the accomplishments that Donald Trump is actually doing and getting some pretty dang good things done for the American people. Let's start first with this, and you can see the site it's on. Big power moves. The $1 trillion U.S. Saudi tech and arms deal that could reshape global alliances. Now, obviously, he went to Saudi Arabia. Now he's in Qatar, and then he's going to go to UAE. He's on this big trip, and he's making a lot of money, shall we say, for the American people, because now we have $1 trillion investment from the Saudi Arabians who are going to invest in things like artificial intelligence, military, and the whole 9 yards to both of their benefits. But you can see the CEOs of all these tech agencies were there, from Amazon to SpaceX. Elon Musk was there, CEOs of NVIDIA, OpenAI, Google, the whole 9 yards. This is going to be good because we are going to get a lot of jobs in our country. Not only that, but we also have this Donald Trump Middle East visit, U.S. Saudi Arabia Inc. massive $142 billion arms deal. While the White House said Saudi Arabia was set to invest $600 billion in the U.S., including the largest defense sale agreement between the allies, worth nearly $142 billion. And this is on moneycontrol.com. But not just there, Donald Trump was given a very welcoming entrance into Qatar there. You can see the cyber trucks, the motorcade that was driving Donald J. Trump. It's pretty awesome looking, by the way, but that's how he was welcomed there in Qatar. And he is making some pretty good deals there as well. And this is on MAGA Resource on his X post. In a blazing display of the art of the deal, President Donald J. Trump secured a staggering $1.2 trillion economic commitment from Qatar. The historic agreement announced during Trump's whirlwind Middle East tour promises to supercharge U.S. jobs and innovation, building on his recent $1 trillion Saudi deal. So on top of the Saudi deal, we got $1.2 trillion in an economic commitment from Qatar. By the way, if you want some information on all of that, it can be found on this fact sheet. But a lot of good things are happening as a result of those mega deals. And this is on Fox News. Trump highlights potential pay raises for troops, touts military reforms in Qatar speech. So great things are happening on the side of Donald Trump, but not so great things are going on with the GOP. But before I dive into that, just a quick break from my sponsor. Well, here's the hard truth. Every 6 years, your dollar loses half of its buying power. What I mean by that is right now, if you had $100,000 in your savings account, well, by the year 2031, that $100,000 is going to be more like $50,000. You see, every time you go to the grocery store or fill up your tank or even pay your bills, prices are going up. And unfortunately, the dollar is going down. But there's a simple way to protect the value of your savings account with something real, something that is reliable and something that has been proven. I'm talking about gold. You see, gold is an asset that holds its value over time. And this is why I personally have partnered with Noble Gold Investments. They are the only ones that I trust. They make it very simple to protect your savings account with physical gold and silver. And by the way, if you give them a call today at 1-877-646-5347, let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven, because right now, if you call them first and foremost, they are no hassle. There's no call center whatsoever. It's just honest guidance and one-on-one support. And by the way, they're very transparent in their pricing. And right now, as an added bonus, you mentioned my name, they're going to throw in this 10-ounce silver American flag bar when you open a qualified account with Noble Gold Investments. If you want to give them a call, do it right now, 1-877-646-5347. Or you can also go to lisahavengold.com. That's lisahavengold.com. Fill out that information on the screen, click Get My Free Guide, and they're going to send you an absolutely free gold and silver investment guide. You want to protect yourself? This is how you do it. Give Noble Gold Investments a call today. Let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. If you want more information, click that more button or click the link in the description box below. And by the way, there's always a risk to investing. There's never a guarantee. As Donald Trump continues to get the job done, the GOP is not doing their job. In fact, quite literally not doing their job. They are a do-nothing Congress. And quite frankly, I'm pissed because we control the executive, the House, and the Senate. And instead of passing bill after bill after bill and then getting things to Donald Trump's desk, they are purposefully delaying and evacuating their freaking job, leaving DC. I'm pissed, to be quite frankly. But here's what Amuse said on X, and I love what he said. Do nothing Congress. There are so many rhinos and never Trumpers in Congress that almost nothing can pass. This Congress has sent fewer bills to Trump than and Congress in 70 years. Would both leadership help, or are the anti-Trump Republicans just too powerful? And he leads to this report. Republican-controlled House and Senate have sent fewer bills to Trump than any Congress in 70 years. You want to know how many bills have been signed and sent to Donald Trump's desk? 5 bills. That is fewer than any president in the first 100 days since at least the 1950s. One must ask the question, and I'm not going to put it in the form of a question because I don't think it is. They're doing this on purpose. Why else would there be a delay if it wasn't on purpose? I mean, really, somebody maybe has a different opinion on that, but I would love to know. But want to know the real truth about what other presidents have done in their administration as opposed to what is going on with Donald Trump and his GOP? Well, Punchbowl News actually put it really good in this article, why President Trump isn't signing many laws. And it goes on to tell us how many each president in the past has signed in the first 100 days. And as you're going to see, it's an epic failure for Donald J. Trump, not because of him, but because of the GOP. And it goes, by this point in 2017, Trump had 24 bills signed into law. When he was president the first time, he had 24 already on his desk signed. Remember, we're at 5. At this point in Biden's presidency, he had 7. Barack had 11. George Bush had 7. Bill Clinton, 21. George H.W. Bush, 13. Ronald Reagan, 9. Jimmy Carter, 19. Richard Nixon, 8. JFK, 20. Eisenhower, 20. None of those compare to how bad it is right now. So again, is it being done on purpose? I absolutely believe in my heart that it freaking is. They're doing it on purpose. Why else have such a delay? They are purposefully a do-nothing Congress. In fact, all they're doing is canceling votes as well. Instead of passing any bills, they're like, hey, let's go on vacation. We need another extended vacation. Here's the Hill. And this is back in April, because these are just the latest I'm showing you. This has been off and on in the first 100 days of Donald Trump's presidency. But anyway, the Hill. House cancels rest of votes for the week after GOP floor rebellion. There were 2 votes that they were supposed to take on the floor. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to do those. We're just going to go on vacation. And of course, this is happening yet again. They are supposed to vote on May 16th. That's Friday. They're supposed to go out and vote that day. But instead, what do? They cancel the vote. And that includes, I believe, the SAVE Act. But anyway, here is Democrat Whip Catherine Clark. The House GOP leaders have made the following change to the House floor schedule. Members are advised that votes are no longer expected in the House on Friday, May 16th. Last votes for the week are now expected to take place on the 15th at 4 p.m. That is the 15th today. This is a change from the House GOP leaders previously announced on their schedule. So thou shalt not be voting on the 16th, says Mr. Leader there. By the way, and he's really pissing me off. You know what I mean? All these cancels and all of this over and over again. Why? Right? I don't believe a lot of these GOP members are on our side. And by the way, on the Democrat Whip's site, she actually has a calendar, their schedule. And I want you to see how much time. You can see it's the voting's canceled on the 16th there. This is May 2025. How much time they take off. Look at this. And that's through May, right? Actually, let's go to the full calendar here. Here we have May. See how much time they're taking off? Just go through the entire year. Wow. Break after break after break after. Oh, well, there's that. Break after break after break after break after break. All they do is go on vacation. What the hell are they hired for? They have pretty dang good salaries. I think it's, don't quote me on this, but 170 to 200,000. But we all know they become millionaires once they get into Congress. USAID, I don't know. Somebody needs to investigate. But anyway, hey, insider trading, Nancy Pelosi. Let's pass that Pelosi Act. Right, our congressional leaders, but I don't think they're going to have a handle on that. But the good news is one of our leaders and representatives are actually calling this out. Take a look on Breitbart. Representative Ogolis, and I'm sorry if I butchered that, leads missive to Speaker Johnson to pass Trump's EOS into law. Less vacation, you think? Gee, Wally, more codification. It goes on. Donald Trump has signed well over 100 executive orders in advance of America First agenda, but Congress is lagging behind in codifying these policies into law, says Representative Andy to Breitbart News. Andy and 16 of his colleagues wrote a letter that was obtained by Breitbart News urging Speaker Johnson to get to work passing Trump's executive orders into law. Because here's the deal. If we don't pass Trump's executive orders into law, some other president can come, usurp that with a stroke of his pen, and everything that Donald Trump did just goes down the pooper. Right, to put it bluntly. But here's what was said. House Republicans made serious campaign promises to enshrine President Trump's agenda. He said in a statement to Breitbart News, it's been over 6 months and the House has passed fewer bills codifying Trump's critical executive orders that are transforming our country and reversing the decline caused by the Biden administration. It goes on, President Trump is working at breakneck pace, delivering win after win. He doesn't take weekends off. He doesn't take holidays off. So why is Congress? He asked in a statement to Breitbart News, while the House is diligently working to fund the MAGA mandate through reconciliation, there's no excuse for not permanently enshrining it into law at the time. The clock is ticking. Less vacation, more codification. And you can see that here are all the co-signers. And unfortunately, it's missing a lot of names, quite a bit. And I think there are a total of 16 who signed that with him. Why? Should be like every Republican and even Democrats, quite frankly. Wouldn't they want the same thing in office? Oh, I take that back. They do. Because when Democrats were in charge, right? They were passing bill after bill after bill after bill. So tell me, why isn't our GOP doing it? Good question. Is there some silent coup going on, so to speak? Are they sabotaging his entire presidency? Is it being done on purpose? I can't wait to read some of your comments on all of that, quite frankly. Anyhow, you know my view. And hopefully we can get some of good Republicans in there, not rhinos, who will actually start putting bills on Donald Trump's desk. If not, it can all be done with a stroke of a pen. All be undone, with a stroke of a pen. My words are like mixing today. But it can all be undone with a stroke of the pen of the next president. If Congress doesn't act, that's going to risk some pretty heavy stuff. Anyhow, I love you all. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.